This is TWiT.
So, new feature is designed to help families who are dealing, I'm just going to laugh for a second, designed to help families with distance learning during the pandemic. So, okay, it's a feature that's designed to help that. It's not going to help with the stress of trying to do distance learning. It's not going to help with juggling assignments and schedules and trying to get the kids. Listen, I'm just being real here. I'm just being real. But it will help. It will help yell at people when you can't physically be in the space to yell at them. So this new feature is called Family Bell. And basically the way it works, you go, hey, G, create a family bell. And it's basically like a bell that you would hear at school to tell you to go to your next class sort of thing. So it's designed for smart speakers and smart displays with the controls available on Android. And the bell reminders can let you know if it's time for an online class, if you need to take a break, if you need to go into the kitchen and have a snack or lunch. You just kind of try and emulate a similar environment that you would in a structured school day, but without the peers and the pencils and the notebooks and the
spit wads on the ceiling.
And people making fun of you and the crushing defeat when you get something wrong in front of the whole class.
Ooh,
and the fear of standing up in front of a class to sit. Yeah, anyway.
Google can't help you there.
That was a lot. Once you set up this feature, by the way, very fun little thing you can do is say, hey, G, start the school day. And it will, of course, start the school day, as well as, hey, G, school is in session, which will basically tie it to smart lighting and a couple other little gadgets you have. It also plays a sound of kids ruffling through lockers. So the scene, where you're going from class to class. But again, I'm sure this doesn't include people kissing in the halls, which honestly starts in middle school. Okay, it is what it is.
I was gonna say, what age kids are you planning for?
Listen,
I'm scared suddenly.
all the stuff that happens in the hallways, like people getting paper stuck to their back. That happened to me a couple times.
Shocking.
Yeah.
I feel like this is that's very funny. That's right. It happened to me too. Dumping books, that sort of thing. I feel like this is definitely the sort of thing that is neat, cute, novelty that no one is going to use, and actually kind of rubs a little salt in the wound of anybody who's doing homeschooling or distance learning or anything, or
Hence how I introduced it, just because I know that, on Twitter every day, it's like, this is hard.
It is. It's really hard. I mean, we are already in the midst of distance learning for the fall semester because our kids go to year-round school. So they started 2.5, almost 3 weeks ago at this point. And things are way different this time around because the schools have had a lot more time to really focus on what they need to prepare, what the students need, create structure. There's a lot more FaceTime with teachers than there was when suddenly everybody was thrown into it and they were caught flat-footed. So on one hand, I agree with you guys. I think the last couple of parts, like time to start the school day and you hear sound effects of lockers rattling and stuff, like I kind of feel like, okay, that's just kind of lame. I don't know how helpful that's going to be. I am authentically interested in the Family Bell, and I'm actually doing an episode of Hands on Android this week on reminders. It was before this news came out, but it was inspired specifically because in the midst of all this craziness, we've got 4 heavy schedules happening concurrently in the same house. How do we possibly manage it and make sure we aren't missing things? And for me, it has to be reminders. So if Family Bell is a way to kind of set up these reminders in a way that's a little bit easier than some of the things that I have been doing, then I'm all for it. The problem that I see is that with our kids' distance learning, every day is a little different. It's not always like, and at 2:00 they start math class, and at 11:00 they do this. Probably the only consistent thing is, 12:00 is lunchtime, and there's a nice long break there for them to do lunch. There's a little bit of structure on a day of the week perspective, but the Monday is very different from the Tuesday, which is very different from the Wednesday. But all the Mondays are similar. So I don't know if Family Bell is going to help with that, but I am actually authentically curious in setting this up because, like, if the last 2 weeks have proven anything, it's that we need a system to remind us because it's very easy to end up overlooking a certain thing. And, you know, this is school. Like, we don't want them showing up 10 minutes late to a 20-minute Zoom call, you know?
It would also be really cool, though, to be able to just like pipe in a Google Calendar, like a specific, you know, calendar. And let's say I would use this maybe for my freelance life. Sometimes I kind of lose track of time. Sometimes, you know, I have meetings and things like that. And they're all on my calendar, but I'm not always looking at my calendar. So wouldn't it be great to have an actual assistant kind of being like, hey, you know, kind of take over that secretary role, so to speak, kind of like helping me out, make sure that I'm moving along. Yeah. It's just
Flo,
another.
You have a meeting at 3. You have a meeting at 3, Flo?
Yeah, exactly. Or, you know, it could be like on Tuesdays, half an hour before I have to start like my get ready time. I would have my little alert go on and say, don't forget, you need to go get ready in 20 minutes. And they would be like, oh, okay, I need to like finish up what I'm doing kind of thing. So.
Yeah, I almost need that kind of slap across the face when it comes to this stuff, because it's very easy for me to overlook it or to just not catch the, you know, and I talk about this in the episode, but so often, you know, you set a reminder and then what you get on the other side of that is like a dookie, and that's it, you know, and if you weren't there for that specific little chime, then you're screwed unless you happen to look at your screen and notice that there's a little notification with a finger, you know, with a little knot tied on it. It's just really easy for me to overlook it and not get it. And so I want to slap across the face in a, you know, not really.
In a Google way. In a Google way.
But in that sense, you want to slap across the face, and then you end up with the Skype ringtone.
Yes.
Right.
Which slap across the face every Tuesday. Yeah.
No, exactly. But like that's the kind of thing where I bet you through years and testing, they're like, well, the ring is too subtle. We got to make it more on. And then you hate the interruption you're getting from the assistant, and therefore you don't use it. Like, it's a vicious cycle of how it's so funny because so many people are worried about AI and data security and all this sort of stuff, when the real crime in all of these applications and mobile phones and technology is stealing attention, is attention focus. And it's the idea that literally, you know, we can't do any task without getting interrupted by another app or getting a notification or anything like that. And it just all kind of, you know, it all gets in the way, and it gets to the point where you have animosity with the device and with the applications you're using because they interrupt you, because you ask them to interrupt you, but you don't like the way you get interrupted. It's like such a weird lose-lose situation. So crazy.
It's like I want you to beat me over the head with this, but then, you know, I don't want it at the same time. But it's not that I want it; it's that I need it. That's really where I'm at right now.